Hello friends, this is Dr. Satyajit from Sun Homeo Clinic, Barchana, Jajpur, Odisha. Today we will discuss one of the most important polycrest remedy, that is phosphorus. To study phosphorus is not so easy, but if you will know about its mental state and its adaptation, we can study it easily. Now, let's take a version. Sometimes patient comes and says, "Hello doctor, don't worry about your fees. I am ready to continue medicine for months or years, but there should be relief in my condition." From this version, what we will understand? In the first part, he said, "Don't worry about your fees. He can pay all the fees, all the cost of medicine, and he can continue medicine for months or years." It shows his wealth. In the second part, he said there should be some relief. That means if there is relief, then he can continue with us for months or years. If there is no relief, he may not continue. It is business talks up. There is transaction. He is paying and he wants some benefit. He wants some relief. That is business. In first part, he shows his wealth, and in second part, there is talk of business. Now we will discuss about the wealth part. There is a rubric, delusion, wealth, imagination of. In this rubric, there are near about 12 remedies. The most important remedies are belladonna, calcarea, phosphorus, platina, sulfur, and verato. Now we will discuss about belladonna. What is belladonna? Belladonna has delusion, wealth, imagination of. Belladonna also he has a great person. He is a great person. That means he has delusion, wealth, and he is a great person. Delusion, great person, he is. In this rubric, there are belladonna, phosphorus, platina, and sulfur. What is the difference between belladonna and phosphorus? Let's know what is their similarities. Both are in delusion, wealth, imagination of. Both are in delusion, great person, he is. Both are light, desire for. Both are fear of dark. So what is the difference? There is one difference, that is belladonna is not dictatorial, but sulfur is dictatorial. There is a rubric, dictatorial, talking with command of air. In this rubric, there are arnica, lycopodium, and phosphorus, but not belladonna. No belladonna in dictatorial. So it is the keen difference between belladonna and phosphorus. Now we will discuss about sulfur. What is the difference between phosphorus and sulfur? Both sulfur and phosphorus are in the rubric delusion, wealth, imagination of. Both are delusion, great person, he is. But sulfur is philosophical. He is a philosopher. He has philosophy ability for. Besides wealth, sulfur has one of the most important rubric, that is delusion, abundance, everything is. Phosphorus has wealth, but sulfur has abundance, everything he has. We cannot measure it, we cannot count it. Abundance, everything in abundance. So we can differentiate easily from sulfur and phosphorus by their sulfur is abundance and sulfur is philosopher. Besides this, there is one of the most important rubric, for Phosphorus, that is delusion distinguished he is. What is distinguished? Distinguished means he is excellent. He is everything. He is perfect. Everything that is excellent. In this rubric, delusion distinguished he is. There are three remedies: phosphorus, stramonium, and veratrum. What is about stramonium? Stramonium overall not in the rubric delusion, wealth, imagination of. And stramonium is poor in all respect. Delusion, poor he is. So we can differentiate veratrum and stramonium easily. Veratrum has delusion, wealth, imagination of. Stramonium has delusion, poor he is. Both have God communication with. Delusion, God communication with. Both veratrum and stramonium have. But veratrum thinks he is God. Delusion, Christ he is. He thinks he is Christ. He is God. But stramonium feels he has communication with God, but he is not God. He has poor sense, but veratrum has everything in wealth. He thinks he is prince, he is God. So we can differentiate stramonium and veratrum easily. Now we will discuss one of the important rubric of Phosphorus, delusion, noble being. In this rubric, there are only two remedies, that is platina and phosphorus. What is about platina? Platina has superiority complex. He thinks he is superior and all are inferior. He is ambitious. There is a rubric. Ambition means employed every possible. That means to do his work, he can go into any extent to get his work. So ambition means employed. He can employ every means to get his work. But phosphorus is very mild and very gentle, although he has hypocrisy. He shows he is noble. He is a good person. It is the outward feature of phosphorus. Now, another remedy which is very important in delusion wealth, that is calcarea carp. What is about calcarea carp? Calcarea carp has delusion wealth. Phosphorus has delusion wealth. Calcarea carp is light desire for, phosphorus also desire light. Both have fear of suffering. But the difference is calcarea very sensitive. He fears being observed. Fear observed her condition being. It is the difference. Phosphorus has no fear of observed, but calcarea always fears the people are observing him. So during ill health, he also does work for hours. He shows that he is not ill, he is not sick, he is in wealth stage. To maintain this, he does work for hours. But what about phosphorus? Phosphorus thinks he is a gypsist. So he visits the doctor and show his mildness and get his work. So it is the difference. So in this video we will discuss two things, that is delusion, wealth, imagination of, what is the version of the first part, and the business talks of, that is in the second part. Delusion, he is talking all about his business. That means the phosphorus wants to talk business. In this rubric, business talks of there are near about 10 or 12 remedies. But the most important remedies are bryonia, hyoscyamus, opium, phosphorus, cantharis, rustox, stramonium, sulfur and verat. Now we will try to separate each remedies in the talk of business. So first one is arsenic. In arsenic also talks about business. There is a rubric, delusion, business, ordinary he is pursuing. In this rubric there are stramonium also. Both arsenic and stramonium have delusion, business, ordinary they are pursuing. That means he thinks, or stramonium and arsenic thinks that they are doing the business which is very common, which is very ordinary. It is not like others. So it is the difference between the arsenic and phosphorus, and the arsenic patient is very greedy, he is very avarice, and he thinks he is doing an ordinary business. In phosphorus, there also one important rubric for business talks of or related to his business, that is delusion, business, doing business. In this rubric, there are three remedies, that is bryonia, phosphorus and rustox. Now we will discuss about bryonia. Bryonia has delusion poor. He has fear of poverty. He has fear of suffering, and he bargains. Why he bargains? He wants to bargain between his business and suffering. Due to poor feeling, he always does work. He is very ambitious. He is very ambitious to his business. So he always does work and feels poor, and he has fear of poverty. There is a rubric, work, delusion work, accomplish or work he cannot. That means if he does not work, he cannot accomplish again. He cannot accomplish his need. So he always does work in bryonia. So what is about rustox? Rustox has another important rubric. Delusion rising cannot rise once he is stooped. There is bryonia and rustox. But what is about rustox in this respect? Rustox is very careful. He is careful about his children. He is careful about his business. He is superstitious. And he thinks once he became bent, that means once his business became hampered, he cannot do it again. So he has fear bent off. So it is the difference between bryonia and rustox and this phosphorus. Now let's another rubric we will discuss that is very important, that is delusion seized as if. In this rubric there are three remedies, that is phosphorus and hyoscyamus and cantharis. Both phosphorus and cantharis are in business talks of. Cantharis has a delirium, that means when he became upset, he goes into state of derailment. That is the delirium of cantharis. Delirium, business talks of. And delusion seized as if. It is the main fact for cantharis. And he thinks delusion, the work is very hard. Delusion work hard, he is working. And in this situation, when he became very upset, when he became very uncomfortable, he visits the doctor and he cries for help. It is very important for Cantheris crying help for. In this rubric, there is no phosphorus, although both are in business talks of and both are in the rubric delusion ceased. The ceased means they cannot move. Both Cantheris cannot move or cannot perform, and both phosphorus cannot move and cannot perform. They are as if ceased, but the Cantheris patient will cry for help. But what is the adaptation of phosphorus? Phosphorus goes to doctor and talks mildly, and he shows doctor he is very close to the doctor, and by this way he does his work. But Cantheris always desire help and he cries for help. So in this rubric there are three remedies. One was Cantheris, one was phosphorus, and the other remain is Hyoscyamus. Hyoscyamus has delusion ceased as if, but he is very high spirited and he has fear of being betrayed. So fear of being betrayed means previously he has done some work or he was betrayed previously by someone. So he is very careful, he is very cautious, he is very high spirited, but wants to talk in the business mind. So Hyoscyamus is business talks of, and the main facet is fear of being betrayed, which separates the phosphorus from Hyoscyamus. Like Hyoscyamus, opium also very high spirited, and opium is very alert like phosphorus. Both phosphorus and opium are very alert. But what is the difference? The difference is opium is content, so remain quiet. And the opium patient once become alert, he became very careful, he became very cautious, and there is fear of extravagant, extra expenditure. He cares about extra expenditure when he become alert. So opium has fear extravagance of. Now we will discuss about the difference of sulfur and phosphorus in respect of business. Sulfur is very wealth imagination of. He thinks he has abundance of everything, so he does not care. He remains frivolous in first part. When he thinks that his wealth stage is declining, then he became very careful. At that stage, he became very alert. But previously, he neglects his business. But when he became alert, he always thinks about his business. Thinks about his business day and night, during sleep and when if alert. There is a rubric talking business sleep in. That is phosphorus. During sleep, he also thinks about business. When he became alert, when he thinks that his resources are day to day declining, at that stage he became very alert and thinks about his business even during sleep. From the above version we have considered phosphorus as delusion wealth and delusion he is talking with about his business. Delusion wealth, business talks. And phosphorus as another many important remedies that we will discuss in later in other video, and it is all about the delusion wealth and business talks of. Thank you.